They're on my body. They might even be leaving me as we speak. Animal, John. There's another one coming. There's one coming to you. Oh, John, you beast! John, you fucking animal.
Hey guys, welcome to my new video about how to be a better noob at Battlegrounds. Here are a few tips and tricks that I've discovered during the hours that I've been playing the game that should hopefully help you to have a better all-round gameplay experience. The game can be extremely daunting at first and it's got a very steep learning curve. Every server that you're in is guaranteed to have some extremely decent players in it, so it's best to be armed with as much knowledge as you can on how to get started properly. Even though the game seems fairly straightforward on the surface, just a matter of landing, finding the right loot and killing everyone else, there are a number of small things and minor details, bits of planning as well, that can really increase your chances of having a successful round. The first and most important thing in Battlegrounds is choosing your landing site. This will depend very heavily on your playstyle or the type of match that you want to have. Some zones like the prison or the airbase will offer fantastic rewards very early on, but it is almost certain that other teams will be in the vicinity, so you'll either have to grab and go at high speed or loot thoroughly and be guaranteed an early shootout with another team. The other option is to open your parachutes early, allowing you to watch where other players land, and aim for a far-flung corner of the map. Now this guarantees that you will be away from immediate threats, but often results in fairly scant pickings when it comes to loot, and occasionally causes nightmare scenarios like having no ranged weapons or having no backpack. I tend to vary between the two depending on what type of game I want to have, and this one decision does probably have the greatest impact on your gameplay experience. One of the next most important things to a successful game in Battlegrounds is to find yourself a vehicle. There are a number of them dotted around the map, but they're not always that easy to find, so getting one early is absolutely key. Depending on how you want to play out the round, having a vehicle allows you to either zoom to the centre of the safe zone early on and find yourself a great advantageous hiding spot, or to scout out for more loot in multiple locations before other people get there. It also affords you the luxury of being able to make a quick getaway should it become necessary, and if a lot of players start converging on your location, you can get out of there sharpish. You are still vulnerable, however, in vehicles, but it's a lot harder for you to get killed, and if you get wounded, you are speeding off in the opposite direction, which makes things a little bit easier for you. If you want to play out around on the edge of the safe zone, then a vehicle is an absolute godsend. It gives you the increased mobility to stay within the force field as it advances, and staying on the edge means that it's extremely unlikely that there will be players behind you as you advance in. One of the next most important decisions to make in every game is when do you stop looting and when do you start looking for a good hiding spot to hunker down in as the round plays out. Although your luck with loot can vary from game to game, you're going to need at least some of the following essentials if you're going to stand a chance of winning. As far as weapons go, you're going to want to get yourself at least an assault rifle and a shotgun at the very minimum, so you've got all engagement distances covered. Preferably with a 4x scope in my opinion for the rifle, but any scope at all is better than nothing. If you are lucky enough to find yourself with a bolt-action sniper rifle, you probably want to avoid having a shotgun as your alternate, as it's very difficult to engage people at close to medium range with a sniper, and shotguns are only really effective at very close ranges. As well as weapons, there's a variety of other items that you can pick up that will be extremely useful as the game progresses. The most important of the items that you can pick up are probably bandages and first aid kits. These can make the difference between life and death and allow you to patch yourself up after any engagements that you've been involved in early in the game. Alongside these you can pick up bulletproof vests and helmets that give you a bit more armour and allow you to take more damage while you're in fights. And to be quite honest, you do notice the difference fighting against lightly armoured opponents and people with level 3 police vests. Less exciting but equally as important is probably getting a backpack. This massively increases the amount of stuff you can carry. You'll soon run out of space if you don't have one, so even a level 1 backpack makes a huge amount of difference. And to be quite honest, when I've had a level 3 backpack, I've never really come particularly close to filling it up. Weapon accessories are also extremely handy, but sights aside, they're non-essential in my opinion. They do give you a bit of an advantage in a firefight, but you can get by without them if necessary. Likewise, smoke and stun grenades can be extremely useful in certain situations, but I wouldn't worry about it too much if you haven't got any. Once you're fully kitted out and you've got everything that you think you need, you and your team can start looking for a place to go within the safe zone. An extremely important thing to bear in mind here is that you shouldn't shoot every single person you see all the time. Try and weigh up the pros and the cons of engaging. Maybe you could sneak in a quick kill, maybe you'd expose where you were, but it's very important to bear these things in mind, particularly later on in the game when the safe zone is not very big. If nobody knows where you are, it can give you a huge tactical advantage, and blowing that can really cause you some serious problems. Other things to bear in mind are your position. If you're in wide open ground, or you could be surrounded by people up in hills, shooting at everybody you see is, generally speaking, an extremely bad idea. Another important thing to bear in mind is that gunfire can be heard from an extremely long distance away and will give away the direction that you're approaching from. So if you're heading towards an area where there's likely to be a high saturation of enemies, especially later on in the game, it's really not a great idea to start shooting at every single person that you see. The final point that I'm going to cover in the video is picking your final destination. This can be an absolute key decision that really impacts how the game plays out for you. The two most basic ways of playing the game are to get yourself a vehicle and rush straight for the middle of the safe zone and try and find yourself an extremely advantageous spot early on. This is quite a low risk strategy, generally speaking, as you'll probably be quite unmolested until later on in the round when things get really busy. The other thing that you can do is stay on the edge of the safe zone. It gives you the benefit of not being flanked from behind very much and allows you to focus all of your attention in one direction. However, being pushed by the fast moving force field later on can really cause you some problems. Right at the end of the game, all of this can go out of the window, as the new safe zone marker doesn't always appear right in the middle of the old one. So what you think can be the most amazing hiding spot known to man can soon turn out to be outside the safe zone and force you to rush across open ground with people firing at you from all directions. So it's important to bear this in mind. On that note, that just about wraps it up from me. I hope the information in the video is useful, and I hope it helps you enjoy Battlegrounds even more, as it's a fantastic game. Happy hunting.